Right on. Okay, so we'll dive straight on in, and first, I want you to I want you to tell me what you were feeling when you first discovered Hex. Take me back to that moment when you first discovered Hex.
Okay, so I started following Richard Hart in 2017 when I got into crypto. I was amazed by his charm and his charisma and his genuine quality that he had about him. And when he had a video release, I'd always make sure I watched it, whether I was driving to work or washing the dishes. I'd just put it on and listen to what he's got to say. I saw him call the Bitcoin top the 20K Christmas, and I was just automatically just really wanted, I don't know, just thought he was awesome. So yeah, when he had his new Hex coin coming out, which was originally called Bitcoin Hex, and he changed it to Hex, basically watching his updates, waiting for it to come out, and yeah, just following it from then on. And he said not to get in on day one, so I waited a little bit and then got in after launch.
Okay, so it was very much the way Richard carried himself that got you involved initially.
Oh yeah, definitely. He really knows crypto. Like I've watched a lot of influencers, and he's the only one that really struck a tone with me because of his genuineness, and he's really for the people, and just his personality really turned me on.
Okay, and so if Hex is pre-viral, what does viral look like in your mind?
Well, viral basically is something that everyone wants, everyone's doing, and your neighbors are talking about it, your friends are talking about it, your family's talking about it. And I believe that social media is the uh, place where it happens. So when things go viral on social media, that's when, you know, it's out there and things are happening. You hear about it from your friends and your family, and you're going, wow, you know. And I think you're talking about how everyone's talking about Hex going viral. So it's like, you know, you would think there's not many people in your community that know about Hex, but then, you know, you might walk into the hairdresser and she goes, oh, have you heard about this Hex coin? And she said, wow, you know, well, even my hairdresser's noticing Hex, which it's like not even many people know about Bitcoin. So, you know, it's when you basically are hearing about it from everybody, you know, and everyone's talking about it, and it's just so popular.
A lot of Hexicans, they talk about this place called Hexico. So, you know, I'm trying to picture it. Can you describe it to me?
So Hexico is a place that the Hexicans dream about, just like the Bitcoiners dream about a Bitcoin citadel. It's a place where everyone's happy, everyone's got a lot of money, and it's just an imaginary place. And you've probably seen the video. One of the community members made a video, a film clip of Hexico, and they had all the Hexicans dancing and singing, and it's just an imaginary place which we all want to go.
Okay, and it's you know, so yeah, it's not really like it's never going to be a physical, like an island in the Caribbean or something. It's more going to be just it'll probably potentially be a digital realm where you can all congregate, I assume.
I don't know. I think, you know, so many people are busy in their own lives, and I guess, you know, it all sounds lovely, but in reality, we all have commitments. No matter how rich you are, you've got commitments, and you know, it's nice to dream of a place like that. But I mean, I doubt. I mean, one Hexican might buy an island and, you know, call it Hexico. I mean, it'd be, you know, probably something that a Hexican would do because they do really cool stuff. But yeah, at the moment for me, it's just, yeah, like a dream, like the Citadel.
How many Hexicans do you think there are?
Oh, there's heaps now. Well, when we started, and don't forget, all Hexicans some are silent investors. So it doesn't mean that if you're not on social media, you can still be a Hexican and an investor. You're a silent investor. So the Hexicans that are on social media, being Telegram and Twitter, I don't know, when we started out, there wasn't that many of us. There's probably 1,000, 2,000. And now that's grown to, well, there's 35,000 people in the Hex Telegram alone. And not all of them are active on Twitter, but I seem to be following so many more accounts of new Hexicans all the time. Every day there's new Hexicans. So there's a lot more today than there was in the beginning.
Yeah, that's for sure. My social media feed is completely chock-a-block with Hexicans nowadays, since everybody was so kind to embrace my investigation.
Oh yeah, but Tom, I think you are a Hexican, mate.
Well, I'm staked, so I believe that's one of the prerequisites for being a Hexican. And no, it's been a really interesting month. I've only actually been around, I staked 30 days ago now, so got another.
And how's that going?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, there's so many variables that I still don't quite, completely understand. So, but the staker app suggests I've made, $60 or whatever in interest. But that doesn't, there are other things that affect the price and what the eventual outcome will be that I still am trying to wrap my head around. But
yeah, well, maybe I can explain it in maybe down to earth, layman's easy terms. If you've got any questions, maybe I could answer some of those questions.
Yeah, let's get through. I've only got a few more questions, and then I thought, afterwards we could open it up a little bit to a bit more relaxed discussion. But honestly, I think people get turned off by tech. It's hard, it's complicated, it's dull. So it always comes back to this: do your own research thing. So no matter how much you try to hammer in the technical aspects of the system, people at the end of the day will have to do their own homework and come to their own conclusions. Do you know what I mean? So, but
Exactly.
let me ask you a couple more, and then we can have a crack at it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay, a Pulsar OG. What is a Pulsar OG?
So you probably heard of Richard Hart's new project coming out called PulseChain, which he's forking the entire state of Ethereum.
Yep.
Well, I believe it is BSC, but yeah, we'll just keep it easy. The entire state of Ethereum. So basically, it's going to be the biggest airdrop in history, because any ERC20 coins you're going to get a copy of for free. And even though these coins may not have any value, once there is price discovery, and Pulse will be exactly like ETH, but better. It's got faster blocks, and it's just much more awesome. So so you'll be paying pennies for transactions. So when you staked your Hex, you probably paid a heap in Ethereum gas fees, and that's a big problem with Hex at the moment for everybody. So Richard Hart's fixing that with PulseChain, and the test net's up now, and anyone that's used it can see it's cost less than a cent to send your transactions anywhere. Whereas Ethereum, yourself, you can get charged hundreds of dollars for one little transaction. So it's called PulseChain, and that's what's coming out. And the community voted to call it Pulse because of something funny Richard would say about counting his pulses. That's another story. So he's bringing out PulseChain, and so we've got all these new people coming into the community, and that's all their crazy names like Pulse OG or Pulsar or anything with Pulse Nation or anything like that. They're basically indicating that they're bullish on Pulse. So that's who the Pulse people are. But the thing is, what it did for Hex is it brought a lot of people who never had seen Hex or weren't really interested in Hex come into Hex. So that's also been really good for Hex. And I believe it will be, bring more people in once they see the chain in action, launched, and see how well it's doing.
So what, it's no secret Hex is always very often called a scam. What do you think? What do you think the detail is that the people are missing that arrives them at this conclusion over and over again? What is that? One thing that they keep missing?
And that's a good question, because I would say the same thing. What are they missing? Are these people just not educated, which is mostly true, somewhat true. They just don't understand. Is it cult mentality? Is it crypto cult mentality? Because there's a lot of nastiness in crypto, especially on Twitter and things like that. And there always has been. And I believe that the lack of education is causing people to take on this cult mentality where if they don't understand something, they're just going to say, oh, that must be a scam because it's not on my exchange. I can't see it. It's not on CoinMarketCap. Look at the market supply. It's huge. Whereas you would know yourself, it's not even listed correctly on CoinMarketCap. The correct listing is on nomics.com, and it always has been on nomics.com. Our CoinMarketCap are too lazy to draw a basically live update because of the staking, and they don't want to count a certain part of the supply. So they have it listed at number 201. Yet Yahoo Finance has got it listed as number 3, and they pull their data from CoinMarketCap. So basically, there's something going on there, and there is a Hexican in our community who's actually taken them to court because of this issue. They've tried to reach out to them, they haven't responded, and we feel, that they have maybe injured Hex, or they've suppressed the price in some way. So if you look at Etherscan also, you'll see that Hex is in the correct position at number 3. So Etherscan is basically the boss, like that tells you the exact data. So any normal person, educated person will say, well, if Etherscan is saying number 3, it's a goddamn number 3. Yet these people, they don't do research. They don't look past the face value of it all. And what I noticed about a lot about the Hex community, they're all very open-minded, individual, outgoing people like Richard Hart. They think for themselves. They're independent. They have big personalities, and they're not nasty. They've all got. There's one thing that I see all across the board: the Hexicans really want to help people. Excuse me. They make some money, and they're the first ones to say to their brother, their sister, their cousin, let me help you, or leave big tips. They want to change the world, but you have got the other side of it. And, Hexicans battled from day one. The hate that Richard Hart received, the hate that the Hexicans received from all these big influencers, which I know you've known, you Peter McCormack, you Eric Walls, and the list goes on. And we all saw that. We watched Richard cream them many times. And there's more names. I won't go into names because I can't stand a lot of them. As I said, I used to watch a lot of them, but I can't watch them anymore because the way that they snubbed Hex was pretty disgusting. And the way their attitude towards Richard Hart was pretty damn mean, since he was a big guy in the space. He was a Bitcoin maxi for years until, he really liked ETH, and he's made his own project. And the thing that Richard Hart's got going for him is he knows crypto like the back of his hand. And you'll see in his videos, even his early videos, he'll tell you straight out, something's a scam, don't touch it. He'll say that. He's for the people, he's genuine. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't, like, you know, your Sunny Decrees, your Ivan on Text, like, and there's a lot more, your Eric Walls. They're not genuine, nice people. And, you know, they're all about the money, and their attitude really stinks. You know, they're all real pump and dumpers. Like, I've heard some horrible stories about them, you know, getting on their channel and, you know, pumping these shit coins where they might have got in before everyone else. All their 200,000 whatever followers see that bumps the price up, and then they sell out. So, and they get paid a lot of money to promote these coins, which there's no evidence that they're any quality, which there's a lot of them that aren't. So, you know, in regards to that, yeah, it's been a long haul, and, you know, Richard Hart has been amazing. He's such a strong person, and he's not a pussy. If you want to go and, you know, go into his den and, you know, take him for a fool, he'll let you know that, you know, no, I'm not having this, and he'll beat you down. And we've seen it. You know, Alex Saunders, look at Alex Saunders. I mean, what a meathead. He basically dug his own grave. Richard slaughtered Alex Saunders, and deservingly so. The man's a fraud, and he defrauded a lot of the Australian public out of a lot of money. And that's not even come out in the media yet. But he was into, you know, gold, the traditional stock market, and he made calls to over 100,000 people, and people trusted him. And basically now they're all, you know, lost a lot of money. And he came out and called Richard a scammer on social media, and all the Hexicans come out and said, you know, mate, don't you call Richard a scammer. And then this happened. And it was like he was looking to pin the blame on someone else. Like, he was already balls deep in debt because he was doing margin trading. So he was looking for a scapegoat, and he'd come out and just bite Richard. And Richard's like, you know, okay, let's go, let's live stream. And then one day he put out all the screenshots that Alex had sent to him and basically ruined him. And we haven't seen Alex since, you know. But these guys deserve it. They're nasty. There's no need for nastiness, and they are nasty. And, you know, all Richard's done is help people. You know, Hex has changed lives. You know, I see people all the time thanking Richard. He gets thousands of messages a day thanking him for Hex, you know, because it's done so well. And the thing is, he's got the brains, and he's very, very smart man, and he's put his dream into his work, and it's really, you know, been a great outcome. So I think a lot of these people calling Hex a scam are now basically shocked that Richard Hart's come through, because like you and I, we don't understand what's missing there. You know, what was missing when it first came out? You know, why couldn't they see through it? Because if they could have seen through it, they could have made a lot of money. So yeah, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more controversy to it. You know, it's been a long haul. And, you know, it's very sad to see such bigotry to one project or one person. But thing is, there's so many of us Hexicans. We love Richard, we love Hex, and we'll always love it, and we'll always be thankful to him, because excuse me, it's done amazing things for myself and others. I can't fault it. I don't think it's a scam, and I'm yet to see anyone else that's been scammed.
That's been one of the challenges, actually, is to find out, you know, who's actually been scammed. And so far, it doesn't look like anybody has been. Obviously, people, the naysayers, will say it's going to happen eventually. But you mentioned Richard a lot there, and I was thinking, you know, it comes back to crypto is like fundamentally about decentralization, right? So one of the conflicts that I've like realized potentially with Hex is this, you know, you have this Richard Hart figure, this central, you know, arguably a kind of authority, so I think that potentially winds crypto folk up the wrong way, right? The fact that you should have a decentralized smart contract executing code or whatever it does, but really everybody seems to congregate around Richard, and I think that gripes people.
I think you're right, and I think he attracts people. He's a really funny bugger. If you listen to some of his videos and some of the things he says, he's just really hilarious. And the thing is, he's like a normal everyday dude. Like, some millionaires, billionaires like up themselves. They won't speak to you. Richard Hart from the start, if you've got an issue with something, he'll answer you and he'll say, what's up, or this is, try this or whatever. He's not too good for anyone. And he attracts certain people with his personality because he's such a big personality. And a lot of people can relate to him because he's for the people. He speaks truth. He puts it out there. And, he put his face, his personality on the line for this cryptocurrency, right? Whereas you look at Satoshi Nakamoto from Bitcoin, like he's some, imaginary guy that even if he exists, which they say he did, like he never showed his face. I mean, Richard Hart has shown his face all through this. And, the people yelled, Bitcoin's a scam, Ethereum's a scam, and now Hex is a scam. So that's just indicating to me it's going to be really successful. I mean, it has been. It's done 10,000x, just like Richard Hart said it would within 2 years. So, I think he's just that kind of character where he attracts people. And you know what? I don't think that these influencers who I've spoken about will ever feel that kind of love and affection that we have for Richard, because he's our mate and he looks after us, and we know he'd never scam us. Yeah, we've seen him get, people try and belt him down all the time and bring him down, call him this, call him that. And, I hate it. I think it's just absolutely awful. And we're always going to have his back because he doesn't deserve that.
How do you think Richard feels about that? This constantly being bombarded with, the idea that he's a scamster or what have you, and this is another scamdemic project. How do you think he feels about it? Because obviously you said before he's quite an open book, really, from the limited amount of time I've spent. And I interviewed with him last year as well. He seemed like a genuinely good character. So, but how long can he take this kind of this shit, basically?
It is shit. You're right, and it's bullying. The thing about Richard, he's a really strong character. He listens to what you got to say, and he'll basically say, "Are you finished?" And he'll answer you. He'll say, "Well, this is why it's not a scam. This is why it's not a Ponzi. This is why it's not a pyramid. Take it or leave it." He's got things on his website, basically, that's a whole section under scams. So if you believe it's a scam, go have a look. He had Telegram channels for bears and Hex haters or Hex fudders. Like, he actually had people who could go in there and talk shit about Hex. Like, he is an open book. He's a very genuine character, and he's taken a lot of shit. And sometimes it actually makes me as an individual feel sort of like bad, because like I'm making decent money from my investment, yet he's gone through all this, heartache. But going back to that, he's a businessman. And like any business is rough and business is tough. And Richard, basically, I think to him now it's probably water off a duck's back. But I know for me, if I put myself in his shoes, it would get to me a little bit. But then I'm a woman and I'm different. And, I really wish that everyone just stop it, like, and just leave him alone. But he knows that's not going to happen. He knows that, everyone's just going to come and have a dig at him and if it's not for this, it's for something like PulseChain launches. They're going to start on that. Like, I hope they don't, but it's a possibility they could do that. But Richard's a very smart man. He's got an answer for everything. You wouldn't want to try and put him down, because he will put you in your place. Yeah, but I think he's just used to it now. And if you take a look, he's got so many supporters, so many followers that just love him. Like, he had a meetup in Amsterdam, you know, I think between 150 and 500 people rocked up just to see him. And I think you had to have 3 conference rooms for these people, because they want to meet him, they want to have a beer with him, they want to listen to him talk, because he's just so amazing. And I think, yeah, it pisses everyone off, you know, not just, you know, the Hexicans, but I think it pisses a lot of people off that a lot of people are so dark on Richard, because he tells the truth, and he's brutally honest. If he doesn't like you, he'll tell you. If you're doing something he doesn't like, he'll say, well, you're stupid. You know, and because he has a large following, he's protecting his followers by being truthful and being honest. And if he thinks something's a scam, he'll say that. And he's always been like that. You know, he's honestly, he hates scammers, and he's hated them from day one, prior to Hex. Like, he hates scammers. And, you know, all he's done is been helpful and honest, and he just gets it all thrown back in his face. But on the other side of it, as I said, he's got a lot of loyal followers. I mean, you know, we all think the world of him. He's doing amazing things. You know, he's wrote self-help books. He's written, I think, 3 books. You know, he's giving us the biggest airdrop in history. He's done so much. He donated 27. He organised a donation of $27 million for the Sense Foundation, which is an aging research charity. So, you know, this individual is doing amazing things, and no matter what people say about him, he's not going to let that stop him from changing the world and trying to make it a better place. Yeah.
The previous guy I spoke with was staked up for 15 years, and I took him to that time. So if we could fast forward to when you unstake, like what's your state of mind, do you think?
Well, yeah, I'm staked out for 15 years too. I'm an annual staker at 15 years. So basically, I just hang on to my hat. I've really got positive hopes for Hex, and positive hopes for Pulse. So, you know, anything that I can come in, any money I come into is a bonus. You know, Richard Hart, you know, has basically said that it can go very high, this coin. And usually when Richard speaks, I listen, and he's usually right. So if this all plays out the way it will play out, you know, we all of us Hexicans have a lot of money. But, you know, and I know money's not the answer to happiness, but it sure does change your life, especially, you know, there's a lot of us in the community who've grown up without having a lot of money. Still, we're all wage slaves, you know, working 9 to 5. But I think I know about at least 15 Hexicans who have retired thanks to Hex. They've quit their day job, and I haven't retired yet. It'll still be a couple of years away from me, I think, which I'd like to do that. But yeah, I definitely want to be retired by 15 years. But, you know, it means that, you know, I don't have to worry about the pension, or, you know, I don't have to worry about paying for my kids' university fees, or, you know, my grandchildren.
That would be much appreciated. I can offer anonymity, you know, like there's a few others.
That's what it basically means for me.
I've had
have
basically,
to it. As I said, I'm annually staked anyway, so I have a stake coming out,
which is fine. I mean, that's how it has. That's how it has to be. Then that's okay.
Well, I think anonymity. Anyway, being anonymous will become part of a Hexican life. You know, if number keeps going up, which it does. I mean, we had all-time highs nearly every day for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's why the price has gone down a bit now. It's a healthy retracement. But, you know, it'll be a point where, you know, you're going to say, well, I've got to protect myself, because once people get the smell of money, you know, there's all sorts of issues. So, you know, I think it's a really big thing to try and keep, you know, I think I respect the people that I know have a lot of money in the community. I don't just blow off my mouth and say, oh, no. And some of them have just told me personally, you know, about these things that they've done. But yeah, you know, Hex has been amazing. It's retired many people. You know, people bought houses, caravans, holidays, bought their mum's cars.
Yeah, I've seen the testimonial page on the website there. There's a lot of videos from Hexicans.
And did you see we've got our own rock songs? Freddie Quotes made a couple of raps. There's also other rappers in the community. We've got a DJ.
Yeah, no, I've seen. I've been following along for, like I say, since I staked, so about a month ago. So yeah, I see everything. My feed is pure. Well, pretty much 99% Hexicans these days. So
you've seen the DS channel as well, where there's constant streamers.
Yeah, I've been invited on as well. I've actually been invited on, but
oh, nice. You should go on it, Tom.
yeah, no, I will. I just want to get my head around exactly what this investigation is, so that when I do go on, I've got something useful to say. You know, they caught me a little bit early in my investigation where I just, you know, I didn't really know what the hell I was looking at. So it's just a matter of time. And the same with the crypto Cabana, I think is YouTube.
Oh yeah, I know him.
He also invited me on. So, but we'll look into that.
You should go. And Cabana's a lovely, lovely man. And most of the guys in the Hex on the DS channel, they're lovely people. I stream with the Aussies on Tuesday night, the Aussie Late Show.
I've seen you.
And they're all really awesome to hang out with. They're really smart. Yeah, all the guys, Cabana, all of them, they're just lovely. And then we've got Nerd Girl, who also streams. She does the Building Bridges show.
Let me just get your interpretation of what exactly Hex is. If you could, like, how would you explain it to a family member, somebody who's, you know, Eli 5, they call it on the internet.
All right. So if I was to explain Hex to a family member, which I have, I would firstly say how awesome it is. Secondly, it's cryptocurrency, so it's digital currency. But what's special about Hex is you can stake it out to get T shares. So when you're staking your Hex, you can earn, you can triple your money, or triple your Hex coins if you stake out past 10 years. So the other benefit is if the coin goes up, you're getting more money for those coins. Now, in a normal bank, that wouldn't happen. You just get your money, you know. With crypto, that's added bonus. And also with your T shares, which used to be 60 cents and now around about $8,000 US. So the more stake, I think you need $8,000 worth of Hex to get one T share at the moment. So a T share is basically your share, that's a trillion share of the pool. So that means, so you're getting your 38% minimum APY, plus if people emergency end stake or late stake, like in their stakes late, there's penalties. So they are spread across the pool. So 50% does go to the OA, but the other 50% gets spread out to everyone. So some days, one day I think we got, usually it's around about a 5.7 Hex per day payout per T share. But the other day, someone end staked millions of dollars worth of Hex, and we all got 10 Hex per T share, which if you've got a lot of T shares per day, that's a lot of money. Some Hexicans are making more than they earn in 1 month, just in interest per day.
Yeah.
So,
and this ending a stake, you know, in a year's time, I'll have to do this. What's the window, the time frame window of opportunity? Because obviously you're penalized on either side, right? If you don't get it exactly right, from what I understand.
So what you're doing is you're committing. You're making a commitment to the contract. Okay, so you got some money there, and you think, okay, I can hold out for 12 months, right? So I'm going to stake that and get my interest for 12 months. So you've got to keep your word to the contract, because if you don't, it's going to penalize you. And if you end stake, I believe if you do it in less than 90 days or 50% of the stake, you're going to get penalized heavily. Sometimes you can get your principal back and just not earn the interest, but it depends how many days you've staked for.
Sure. But
So,
take me to that unstaking moment. That's what I am fearful of, because
really, don't be scared, Tom. It's easy. I've done it.
to unstake
End stake.
without experiencing any penalties.
Yeah, if you got the Staker app.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would show you, if you were to end stake early, emergency end stake, that would show you how much you plan to get and how much penalty you'll pay.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of the game theory. When Hex goes up and you'll look at that stake and it's, 10x, and you're going, oh, I should take it out, I should take it out. The thing is, you look at your Staker app and you might take it out. You get that. But the thing is, the price might go another 10x in a couple of weeks. You don't know. So part of that is to be committed to the contract, because you're earning interest. You've said you're going to stake out for that long. When you end stake, you're getting your principal plus your interest as you calculated when you put your stake in.
Yeah.
So that's the commitment you've got to the contract and to yourself. And if you don't keep it, there's penalties. But there's nothing to be scared of, because you're going to get a copy of that on PulseChain too, right?
Yeah, I've heard that. Yep.
So you'll get your Ethereum and your PulseChain, any liquid you've got and any stakes you've got. Yeah. So after price discovery, we'll see how well they do. But yeah, all you do, and that's a problem at the moment. When you end stake, the gas fees are that high. It's scary. But PulseChain will be much cheaper. So you'll be fine. It's easy, and it's a wonderful moment if you've made lots of money.
Is it, practically speaking, is it just a case of going to the website and hitting unstake?
Yeah, you should try it, Tom. Just put in like a little bit of Hex and just do it for a week, and then end stake, and you'll see how to do it. So all you do, right, you go to your you can go to your Staker app and do it that way, but I usually do it via PC. So your stake's ending tomorrow, so I make sure I do it maybe a day after it's ending, because you got 2 weeks to end that stake before you get 1% a day taken out. So I usually give myself at least 24 hours before it's fully, the clock's turned over, because it goes by US time, and the clock at the end of the day ends about 10 a.m. our time. So basically all you do is you go down, there's a little red button, and you click on end stake. It'll connect to your MetaMask wallet. You'll authorize, so you've got to have gas to do it. You'll authorize that transaction, so you pay a gas fee, and you'll watch the Hex end stake, and you'll see that move down the bottom and how much you're paid out, so for tax reasons, whatever, and you'll see your Hex go into your MetaMask wallet in liquid, and that's all you do. So it's really easy.
Yeah, that's right. I remember reading you're at that moment, what you're doing is actually minting more Hex, right?
Yeah, you are minting, because
you're not unstaking the previous staked Hex, but you're actually minting completely new Hex.
Minting interest, yeah. Well, the contract is minting interest. That's correct.
Right. Okay. Oh well, we'll see. That's still 11 months away. So I'm.
Another thing is a lot of Hexicans were end staking and not realizing that they're going to pay a penalty, right? So they changed the contract and they put a big warning sign saying, be warned, if you end stake, you may you may lose some of your principal, blah, blah, blah. I don't know exactly what it says, but it basically gives you a warning not to do it. So that's not even, that's not even scammy or even, you're not getting duped because there's a clear warning, to say, don't do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess as long as you get out more than you put in, well, plus this whole PulseChain launch thing is kind of thrown another level of complexity into my investigation. But well, that's due out at the end of the year, right? Somewhere.
Yeah, about December or January, I think it's coming.
Yeah.
We're hoping. Did you sacrifice for it, Tom?
Pulse sacrifice? No, I didn't. I missed that boat. I think that was just prior to me getting my hands on some hex, actually.
Okay, because when it launches, you'll be able to grab some. It's starting at 0, so I mean, I'm not giving financial advice at all, but I mean, if you're also planning on doing maybe another documentary on Pulse, and you're an OG and you can see your own price appreciation, you're going to have a lot more knowledge. You're going to have personal knowledge on it, so you can work with that as well.
Yeah,
because it will be controversial. Anything to do with Richard Hart, he does it well, and it's controversial.
Yeah, no, that's no doubt. But okay, Sammy. Well, I think we've been rolling for time. Yeah, we've been rolling for an hour now. So, is there any last thoughts or words that you would like to get down while the camera's rolling?
Yeah. Don't be a wage slave. Look into crypto and look into Hex. It's a really amazing crypto, and it's going to change the world. And Richard Hart's going to change the world. And look at PulseChain too, because that's also going to be amazing. Not financial advice, but do yourself a favor, be kind to yourself, and you're going to be on a good thing.